right, well, joining me now is somebody I like to call one of the breakout stars of the Murdaugh family murders case. He is a forensics expert, Dr. Kenny Kinsey. Dr. Kinsey, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Good morning, Miss Julie. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We couldn't have been more impressed with you, and that is the truth. Just to kind of give a little rundown for our courties who love this stuff, under the big umbrella of your forensics expertise, it includes bloodstain pattern examination, crime scene investigation and reconstruction, fabric impression examination, fingerprint examination, tire tread and footwear examination, and you are qualified as an expert in both state court in South Carolina and federal court to testify as an expert witness all this. Incredibly impressive. You're a heavy hitter, that's for sure, but you also seem like the nicest guy in the room. And that's really the way you came off to many trial watchers. And I'm curious, how much preparation with the prosecution team did you do to be able to go through that testimony?
Well, Miss Julie, I kind of do my testimony the same way. I've been doing it for 22 years. Of course, you learn from your mistakes, but the preparation was intense with the Attorney General's office. I attended at least weekly briefings, usually on Sunday night, Saturday or Sunday night, but the preparation was, as far as content was concerned, the preparation was intense, but I kind of did my own thing where I go and spend some time studying the defense and the attorney styles. I'm very familiar with the two top attorneys on the defense team, a little less familiar with the other two, but they're all top shelf.
Most certainly. The advocacy was excellent on both sides, no question about it. I want to play a clip for you now, Dr. Kinsey. One of the moments that I like to say was a tip the scales of justice moment. It came as part of your redirect examination with the Attorney General, that demonstration that you did. Let's watch it back together now.
The defense agreed with the assessment that Paul stood there for a moment, bleeding down his injured left arm, and he slowly walked toward the door.
Okay, and what does the shooter do?
The shooter's coming in the door.
And then what does the shooter do?
He shoots Paul in the back of the head after he passes him.
Okay, and then shoots Paul in the back of the head like this, and where does the blood spatter go?
The blood spatter, the pellet defects, and one that I didn't know about that the expert collected was in the door frame at the top of the door.
Without question, that was a standout moment in this trial. Curious, Dr. Kinsey, whose idea was it to do the demonstration in the doorway?
I have to give full credit to Mr. Alan Wilson. He wanted to reverse it. He wanted me to put the weapon to the back of his head, but he's taller. And it was his idea, and I told him, I said, look, I believe I'm a little bit more compact, closer to the ground. I believe I can get down to that position better, and it'll be a better visual effect if you point the gun to the back of my head.
Sure, a smart move. Tell me, how many times did you guys practice this before the trial?
We practiced it about 5 minutes before the testimony.
Oh, no kidding. Wow, okay. That's great. And how about the decision to ask the court to have the bailiff open up the door so that you could have some extra room? Was that a last-minute decision?
It was, but the mechanics of the door operated the same way as the door at Moselle, although it was a little bit deeper, the threshold. So the visual effect we thought would be pretty close. So Mr. Wilson asked one of the courtroom attendants if we could open the door.
It was such a great moment because it really, as you know, Dr. Kinsey, allowed these jurors to have a better picture of how Paul was shot and killed, or how he was not shot and killed. I mean, you really debunked the defense theory with that demonstration right there. And with you looking at so much evidence that the public wasn't able to see, right? We couldn't see everything that the jury saw. Certain exhibits under seal for good reason. The sheer brutality of this is heart-wrenching. Talk to us, please, on a human level. not the expert witness in you that talked to the jury, but just as a human being looking at how these other two human beings were killed. How did that make you feel going through all of that evidence, please?
Ms. Julie, you have to separate the evidence from that human side, but we are still human, and many of us are parents. I'm a parent, and it is heartbreaking to think about the final moments and the actual activity of this scene. As I've mentioned, this scene was chaotic. It was very, very fluid, a lot of movement, and that helped us determine that Paul was shot first. The sequencing was very easy, but we figured out that Paul was shot first because he was a very capable young man, and had his mother been shot first, he certainly would have come to her aid. Now, the other side of that coin is we heard several times in the trial that Miss Maggie Murdaugh was shot running away, and there could be nothing, according to my investigation, my reconstruction, and my opinion, there could be nothing farther from the truth. Her head was positioned toward Paul, a short distance away, and that helped because I believe the jurors got to actually see the layout and the depth. Because even though it's a huge place, it was really, these crimes were compact, but it was a lot of movement. It was very disorganized, and that tells us that Paul was the first victim, and then Miss Maggie Murdaugh was running to her son.
Just like Creighton Waters said in close, running to her baby. That was another one of those big moments that really underscored what you had shown the jury on the witness stand. And then when he had time to argue it, it really put an exclamation point on that legal theory of the case. And I know that in your position, when you're being brought in as an expert, you have to very closely assess the other side. What were the things that stuck out to you, please, Dr. Kinsey, that were favorable for the defense at the crime scene?
Well, at the crime scene itself, I didn't find that much favorable because you definitely had access. The defendant had access. It's very, very secluded. Ms. Julie, in my experience, a hit team, or whether it be drug dealers or organized crime, they don't come to a scene expecting there to be weapons there waiting on them. It is very, very secluded. It would be much easier in my mind if I targeted any of those victims to catch them away from there. You got to know so many variables to know that Miss Maggie and Paul were at that kennel. You've got to have access in, access out. I didn't see a lot favorable to the defendant at the scene.
Dr. Kinsey, tell us, is there anything that you wish you could have said up on the witness stand but couldn't, maybe because of a pretrial ruling, something being off limits, or something that you wish you could have told the jury but you weren't allowed to?
Well, I've gotten a lot of praise for it. Sometimes it can be a detriment. I am a parent, and I feel for everybody involved. There's no winners in this situation. Even with the guilty verdict, there's still no winners. There's definitely a void in that Murdaugh family. And sometimes you just want to express, I'm taking it where the evidence goes, but I still feel for your family. You have to get up there, and you definitely have to tell your story, and you try to tell it as accurately as you know it to the jurors, but you still want an emotional connection with that family to let them know that you're doing your job. And sometimes the victims are forgotten, and especially in high profile cases, sometimes the victims are forgotten. But I was there, being compensated by the Attorney General's office, but I was there working for the victims. And sometimes you want to reach out, you can't reach out. And, certain rules, as you said, decorum, and some of the little details that don't make it into court, or for whatever reasons, you like to throw those in. And that's sometimes I tell them, the funny moments are not making light of the situation because it's as bad as it gets. But sometimes those funny moments are just to show your teeth just a little bit because I'm going to be nice regardless of how I'm treated. You're showing your teeth just a little bit, so you're telling that defense attorney, you can take it here, but you don't know what I'm going to say because the judge is going to allow me to explain my answer. And sometimes that can be dangerous.
Appreciate it so much. Really just emphasizing the importance of these two victims and their lives being lost. A really great way for us to end this interview with you, Dr. Kinsey, because that is what it is all about, these victims and justice for Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. Dr. Kinsey, I could really speak to you all day. Our viewers just love you. We would love it if sometime, I know you're a busy guy, we would love to have you come back on as an expert analyst, if you would.
It would be the thrill of my life, Miss Julie. I'm a big fan. Thank you.
We're going to hold you to that. Dr. Kenny Kinsey, thank you kindly for being with us. Get some rest after all that work at trial. We'll see you soon.